Some of the ways that I tried to positively engage my students inside the classroom was with co-partnering with my professor I was working with, Dr. Nielsen, presenting our students with textbooks that had to do with the common theme of waging war, waging peace. One of the specific books that we read by Kevin Sides, Into the Hot Zone, looked at different war zones, areas of conflict around the world, and this was new material that was presented to our students. In this material, it made them ask questions, it made them look at themselves and how they can work with this conflict and what their role is in making peace in our world. That was inside the classroom. Also, working on or stressing interpersonal relationships during this college experience, getting to recreate yourself from that person that you were in high school. I stressed that a lot. I told all of the students that they could be whoever they wanted to be. This was a new beginning, and by the end of the semester, I believe that my students did take that to heart, and I believe that was their first step in this journey, or to making this a positive journey in college. Outside of the classroom would be attending programs with my students, programs about diversity, programs about healthy relationships, skills in which they hadn't explored in college or were just not presented with. I believe that engaged them, meeting new people, new ideas, and I hope that they make that a habit, attending programs into the future.
Inside the classroom, I mean, it's very intimidating for first-year students, and we relieved some of their anxieties starting out by having me come over the summer where they had their focus groups, where they came on campus and they were shown around the buildings and where classes were and stuff like that. I was introduced then when they also met their professor of the class, and I made sure I talked to some students right away. I said, hi, my name's Jess. I introduced myself. I was able to tell them that I also went through the seminar, but I didn't have a peer mentor, so.
And so to enhance their academic classroom experience, we did a lot of little sessions, like studying and note-taking, things with time management, because time management became a big deal, especially since Facebook and video games and things like that can take up a lot of time, and they never really realized that. And we did a little how to register for classes session. I think that helped a lot because they actually all did register quite successfully.
The most successful part of my time as a peer mentor would have to have been seeing my students do the community service outreach. Many of the students had not volunteered in the past, and this was an opportunity where they came together as a class and they split up in different groups in which one group would buy the food, one group would make the food, and having these responsibilities and then serving others was a really big deal, and it turned out to be such a positive thing, and it was so successful. Also, the success of kind of the family environment we had in the classroom. Dr. Nielsen and I worked really hard in the first couple of weeks to create a very safe environment and a very comfortable environment, and we did that through, starting with icebreakers, and then starting with the setup of our tables and chairs, and it deemed to be a success.
The most successful part of the program that I think we really hit hard on were the skills that we wanted to have our students have within their first year, and to have the concepts grasped so that they would be able to use it in their next semester classes, and the year after that, and the year after that.
I think one of the most successful parts of the Peer Mentor program was doing skills materials with the students. I felt that it was really important for them to have this extra little push to help them transition from high school to different things, how we do it in college, because a lot of their first papers were at a high school level, and after we did a lot of our skills materials, the professors told us that they could see a huge change in their paper writing skills and their speaking skills, all different things that showed that we made a change and we helped them figure different things out that they wouldn't have had help in just a huge lecture class.
My suggestions for future peer mentors would be, 1, make sure that you have enough time in your schedule for those things outside of the classroom, because you're never really off from your job, whether it be you attending outside programs with your students or you meeting in the coffee house for a cup of coffee so you can, talk about family concerns with one of your students. Or, perhaps one of your students lives in your building and you're always a role model and you're always in that leadership position. So make sure that you are prepared and you are ready to set that time aside, and that you take responsibility for your role of always being on.
My advice for new peer mentors is you don't know everything, and not everybody else knows everything, so take it easy on yourself. Sometimes you don't have the answers, but it's okay, because you can go to a professor, you can go to whoever, you can find the answers and then help the students. So don't feel like you need to have all the answers right away, but let the students know that you don't know, and it's okay, but you'll find the answers for them and you'll keep helping them and do whatever you can do. And really just have fun with it, because these freshmen are not much older than you, so really connect with the students and just be part of the whole experience, because it's great.
For future staff and faculty involved in this program, I would say that a strong understanding of how the program is working as a whole would be a very, very good thing, because if all of these different ideas are coming into practice, the peer mentor program isn't going to be as strong. There's going to be certain peer mentors doing this, certain faculty doing this, and that's okay to an extent, but I think the bulk of the program really should have a really strong basis to it. Everyone should know the certain objectives and things like that.
Some of the challenges of being a peer mentor, especially for me, were more so just time commitment and time consuming, just because I'm very involved and very busy with RA things also. But also luckily for me, a lot of those RA and peer mentor things overlapped. And another challenge was just seeing people struggle sometimes with their personal lives and not being able to do much other than just maybe being like a shoulder to cry on, or maybe just send them in the right direction, but knowing that they still feel that pain is kind of just hard for me.
Some of the challenges I faced as a peer mentor would be working with a classroom of 25 diverse students, all from different locations, all at different levels in their own personal and emotional development, and knowing that they learn differently and that their stories are different, and respecting their learning styles and their reason for being here at UWGB, but yet still striving towards the same goal of education.